Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being with us on our weekly update call today. Appreciate you making time. We've got several updates for you, several speakers today. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. We are into tax season now. So many of you are working on your business taxes and whatnot. And obviously, there's a lot of changes, a lot of programs, things that have been happening as a result of the pandemic. So we thought it would be good to have our friend John Goodman from AHP join us. John has been a regular participant over these last, almost 12 months, giving updates on what's happening in the tax world as it relates to businesses and whatnot. So wanted to have John come on again today and give everyone an update. I know one thing I've heard, John, a number of organizations looking at is the employee retention tax credit, but obviously there are a number of funding programs that are out there that may or may not have tax implications as well. So I'd like to give you a few minutes to give us an update on what's going on. So John, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Hi, everyone. This is John, as Justin said. I'm from AHP. We have several offices throughout the state of Michigan. I'm in the Shiawassee office on Washington Street. So some things I kind of wanted to go over were changes that are coming forth in the PPP. Well, actually, they've already changed. The new administration had changed some rules to those sole proprietors for how much what you use for the calculation to get those PPP loans. So as a sole proprietor, you had opportunity to base your calculation of your PPP loan proceeds off of your net income in the past in 2020. But what the new rules are is that you can actually use your gross revenues for that calculation instead. So that could free up some cash for yourself as long as you get the loan. And those who have taken those PPP loans as a sole proprietor in 2020 do have an opportunity to make up the difference there with a supplemental application. We understand that there's a supplemental application out there for those PPP funds to make up the difference between net income and gross proceeds for those sole proprietors. I'm not sure that banks have really understood that, so that may be something that you may have to walk through your banker and just kind of let them know. And sometimes when you alert them to situations like that, they become more aware and ask other people. Other opportunities for saving some money in taxes, using what's called qualified improvement property. What this is it's the improvements you made to commercial buildings. Like if you have a business that you run a building out of and you make an improvement to the property, usually it was 39 years you'd have to depreciate it over. But CARES Act did change that, and it also changed it that you can go back to 2018 and make those changes as well. So you have an opportunity to go back in 2018 if you had these improvements to your property or leasehold improvements if you were renting, and just take the entire expense for it in 1 year. And it gives you opportunities to maybe carry back a loss, if any, or carry forward a loss, if any. So there are some opportunities there. And always remember, there's always just different rules for property and what you can depreciate. So make sure you're talking with somebody about that before you make those moves. Because if you look at a qualified improvement property, it does not include something like a build out if you add it onto a building. However, if you did build out a building, you have opportunity to do a cost segregation and look at those items that you put in there, like electrical and non-bearing and non-outer walls that you may be able to take that depreciation expense for. You can take the 179 deduction, but the thing is 179 deduction for depreciation is limited to income. So bonus that can take you below a net income into a loss, where Section 179 depreciation cannot. Other provisions for individuals, I was looking at the earned income credit and the additional child tax credit. A lot of people made less money in 2020, but maybe they made more because they collected unemployment. So the unemployment is not earned income. And when you're looking at earned income credit and the additional child tax credit, they consider how much you made as far as earned income, which is wages, or as a sole proprietor, how much you made in net income. And if you made less in 2019, in respect to earned income, I'm sorry, in 2020, then you can look back to 2019 and actually use that if it increases your credit. So just be aware of that. And if you made more in 2020, then that's not going to apply to you at all as far as earned income. Another thing to look at for unemployment is a lot of people went out there and collected unemployment. There were some good benefits out there. But if you have a child who is in maybe college, maybe you supported them and they collected unemployment, be aware that there could be some kiddie tax on it. That's a bit of a complicated situation, and I have had some clients suffer from that. It's not a good situation to be in. Obviously, the kids who would know that they owe kiddie tax. What that is if you support your child and they're going to college or maybe they're just working part-time under the age of 18, then you would have the child would have to pay tax in the same bracket as the parent. That's how that works out in their highest bracket. So just be aware of that. Other provisions, retirement plan distributions, there were some misconceptions out there. The CARES Act passed back in March, that allowed some great opportunities where you would be subject to a penalty if you were under 59 and a half, if you took a distribution from a plan, as long as it was related to COVID. You could also spread out the income over 3 years, or you could elect to just pay it back in 3 years and not pay any tax. But just be aware that if you don't pay it back, there may be some amendments that are required at that point. With the retirement distributions also, here's where the misconception comes from. The Consolidated Appropriations Act back in December, what happened there was they let that provision expire. So if you did not take a distribution in 2020, but you think it's still an option that's available for 2021, please be informed that that is not the case, not as of yet. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the new package that's running through the Congress right now for another stimulus. That could always change things. So just be aware that distributions from plans for 2020 are not the same rules as 2021. And as always, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. You can always reach me at my Owasso office. My phone number there is 989-723-8227. And you can also email me at john.goodman@ahpplc.com. Oh, yeah, and of course, there's always the employee retention credit. So as Justin had mentioned, you want to talk to a tax preparer about that because there are some different rules about that, what qualifies. So I guess I'll just hand it back to Justin or open the floor to questions if that's an available option.
Great, John. And once again, not only thank you for today, but you've been with us quite a few times over the last about 12 months giving updates. So very much appreciate your time and expertise. Does anyone have a question right now for John? If you do, I'm going to open the floor real quick. You're going to want to hit *6 on your phone to unmute yourself. Does anyone have any questions?
Justin, this is Mark.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
In respect to the grant that we got for our business, is there tax implications on that grant money?
Okay, that's a good question. If you're talking about the EIDL grant, no, that's tax-free.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
So, John, what this is, this was a state grant that ran through Michigan Economic Development Corporation.
Oh, I gotcha. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure right now if it was CARES Act money that funneled through to Michigan and then they redistributed out federal money, or if it was state budgeted appropriations on that. So, because there's been 3 or 4 different grant programs from the state that have funneled through. Do you have any knowledge of how these state grants are being accounted for?
Well, the only grants that I know of that are tax-free, and I could be wrong in this, I should double check on this one, but the only tax-free grants are the EIDL grant and the PPP loan forgiveness at this point. I'm not aware of state grants being non-taxable at this point.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one, Mark. We can definitely check on it. Would it matter, John, if it was federal money that was passed through and administered by the state versus state appropriated money? Do you think?
Well, see, the thing is, there's so many grants out there, and rightly so, because we've had like medical care providers. They receive grants from the Medicare program, and that's fully taxable. So that one right there, I just have to say there's just too much information out there. But I will check for you, Mark. Mark, where are you from?
I'm actually on the board for SCDP.
Oh, okay. Okay, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will look into that, and I will get back to you. But as I stand right now, I believe it's taxable.
Okay.
Mark, what I'll do, I'm going to connect you and John by email. I've got both your email addresses, so I'll just make an email connection for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Other questions or comments for John? Anybody have anything else for John right now? Okay, well, John, as always, thank you again for your time today. And if anyone has any further questions, please feel free to contact John at AHP. So thank you for that. Talking about funding programs, Jody Rathel from our team participated in a webinar that was hosted by Senator Peters last week and SBA officials, and there's actually some new updates regarding some of the funding programs that SBA is offering. And so I wanted to have Jody jump on here and give an update to the group about what she learned. So Jody, go ahead.
All right, good morning, everybody. So first I'll start off just by telling you, I'm just giving you kind of some updated information, maybe information that we were not aware of or that we wanted to share. But if you go to sba.gov, there is right on their homepage a button that says learn more under coronavirus COVID-19 small business guidance and loan resources. If you click there, they have excellent information about all of these different programs that I'm going to tell you about. They have links to loan applications. It's a very thorough site, so keep that in mind if you need more information. But some of what they had talked about, obviously everybody's heard a lot about the PPP loans. They now have 2 different loans available, basically your first draw or your second draw. So first draw would be for anybody who did not receive a PPP loan prior to August 9th, 2020. You obviously have to follow some guidelines and be eligible, but there is a first draw still available for those who did not take a loan initially. You must have been in business by February 15th of 2020, and you have to apply before March 31st of 2021, or until the congressional appropriations are exhausted. There is currently a 14-day exclusivity period for businesses and nonprofits with fewer than 20 employees. That runs from Wednesday, February 24th through March 9th. So only businesses with 20 or fewer employees are able to apply during that time. So if you don't meet that criteria, you're welcome to apply again after the 9th, but before the 31st of March. And they did expand some of the eligibility and how funds can be used. You can now select your coverage period between 8 and 24 weeks. They've simplified the forgiveness form for any loans up to $150,000. And at one time, they were subtracting your idle advance from the PPP loan forgiveness amount, and they are no longer doing that. So a second draw would be for borrowers who did previously receive a PPP loan and have 300 employees or less and suffered a 25% reduction in gross receipts. So for most of those borrowers, the maximum loan amount for a second PPP loan is 2.5 times the average monthly 2019 and 2020 payroll costs, up to $2 million. Borrowers in the accommodations and food service sector, though, are able to get loan amounts up to 3.5 times the average monthly payroll costs for 2019 and 2020, up to the $2 million. So if you're in accommodations or food service sector, you have a little bit more that you're able to take out. And for the second draw, the periods can't overlap. So if you've taken your first draw, that period is not able to overlap with the second draw period. Let's see. So some people applied for the idle or idle advance. So there's an idle loan, and then the advance was a grant, initially thought to be up to $10,000, but they ran out of funds. So if you applied and didn't receive anything, you could be eligible for $10,000. They're trying to bridge that gap. If you applied and you had 3 employees, you may have received $3,000. You may now be eligible for that additional $7,000 to take you up to the 10. There's nothing you have to do at this point. If you are eligible, SBA will contact you by email, give you instructions on how to apply, and you will be receiving a follow-up email once you do that, letting you know that you have to fill out some information, requesting a form for tax information. Once you do that, they can continue and process your loan. But there's nothing you actually have to do. They will follow up with you directly. I'm trying to see what else. They did also talk a little bit about the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. Applications are not open yet for that. You will need a sam.gov registration to apply. So if it's something you plan on applying for, you can go to sam.gov and get that registration started. Eligible entities, I know there has been some question about this, is live venue operators and promoters, theatrical producers, live performing arts organization, and motion picture theater operators. It says relevant museum operators, zoos, and aquariums who meet specific criteria. So there are some different criteria there. You must have been in operation as of February 29th, 2020, and the venue or promoter must not have applied for or received a PPP loan on or after December 27th, 2020. So you can't even have applied for the loan after December 27th of 2020. And the other thing they talked about was SBA backed loan debt relief. So it's a program for 7A, 504, or microloan borrowers. If you have any of those types of loans, there's nothing you need to do to apply for debt relief. The SBA will automatically provide it. They distribute a letter, and they will contact you to let you know if that's something that you will qualify for. So I believe that's it. Again, if you go to the SBA.gov site, right on the main page, you can click to enter an area that deals with just the COVID-19 guidance and loan resources. And it's full of very, very good information if you're looking for more detail on any of these.
Great, Jody. That's a lot of good updates there. And I know you were just taking information, so you may not have a lot of in-depth knowledge on this, but I do want to once again open the floor. Does anyone have any comments or questions based on that? If we don't have the answer, we'll certainly get it for you. Anyone have any comments on any of those SBA programs? Hit *6 on your phone, please. Okay, well, Jody, thank you for that. Appreciate you participating in the webinar and sharing that information with the group. We have our good friend Gary Jones. Always appreciate him being on and giving an update from the governor's office. I'd like to give the floor to Gary. It's yours. What's happening from the state level today?
Hey, thanks, Justin, and good morning, everyone. So today, Governor Whitmer and Dr. Janae Caldoon, our Chief Medical Executive and the Chief Deputy Director for MDHHS, will give an update on the COVID-19 pandemic at a 1:30 p.m. press conference. If you're online, you can watch it live on Twitter or Facebook, but I do believe most local news stations also carry it too as well. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Also, the Michigan Department of Insurance and Financial Services offered some tips this morning to prepare for spring, fall flooding and severe weather. Of course, with the warmer temperatures we were just talking about earlier on the way, the Department of Insurance and Financial Services is encouraging Michiganders to take steps to be prepared for spring storms, flooding, and potential water damage before disaster strikes. We have seen in recent years severe weather and flooding can cause extensive damage, even in areas that do not traditionally flood. So taking action now before the spring thaw can help consumers get their lives back to normal as soon as possible after a severe weather event or flood. Also, the governor and state treasurer Rachel Eubanks announced the expansion of the My Classroom Heroes COVID-19 grant to include a new grant program for Great Start Readiness Program, Head Start, Adult Education, and Young Adult Special Education classroom teachers. The governor also recently announced a 3-month extension for liquor licensees to renew their 2021 licenses. The annual license renewal expiration date will be extended from April 30th to July 30th this year. To assist licensees who have been impacted as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic by providing additional time to renew their licenses. And lastly, the governor delivered remarks before a virtual hearing of the United States Senate Committee on Environment and Public Works, and it was entitled Building Back Better, Investing in Transportation While Addressing Climate Change, Improving Equity, and Fostering Economic Growth and Innovation. To view the live stream, you can visit www.epw.senate.gov/public, and our comments are made at the 40-minute mark. And that's it, actually, Justin. With that, I'll take any questions if there are any.
Yeah, we don't have, I don't believe we have our reps from the Health Department and Memorial on today, but obviously the vaccine distribution remains a top priority. Do you have any updates you can share with the group on distribution?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Justin. I don't. The best thing that I have for people, if they want any information in regards to vaccines, of course, the local health department leads up the vaccination efforts respective to their county or their district, because some counties have a single touch point for a health department. They may manage or receive vaccination efforts in like 3 or 4 counties. So, yeah, no, definitely the local health department would be best locally to get updated there. But if people want information from the state side, you would like to visit michigan.gov/COVID vaccine. And that's the catch-all website on the state end for, anything related to the COVID vaccine.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Gary. I always appreciate you making time to be on here. I do want to share, and you should get this if you're on my email list. You should get this pretty much every Monday now. The updates we do have from Memorial and our health department. We just got those yesterday. I sent those out last night. It looks like our health department has gotten some additional doses. They are requesting, it's still at this point, to focus on those that are over 65 years of age. So they're asking for people to call and leave information. That's in the email that I sent you. Memorial also got a few doses, not a lot. They are calling people now on the list. They're definitely asking people to answer calls if something comes in to schedule an appointment. But they have not reopened their pre-registration list. So if you want to get on a list, it would not be through Memorial. You'd want to go through the health department. But I continue to hear the story is get on any list you can. I know that I think Rite Aid is doing some things. I think Myers. So just continue to get on any list that you can. But if you are on a list through our hospital or through our health department, you will be contacted when those vaccines are available. So I've had several businesses in the community that have said, I haven't heard anything yet. They haven't forgot about you. They simply do not have the product yet to distribute. So if you are on a list already, and many of you filled out a survey now, probably a month ago, 6 weeks ago, you're still on that list. You will be contacted. They're just don't have enough product yet. So we'll continue to update. I think we'll probably have reps again from the hospital and the health department next week, but that's the latest on that. And then a couple of other things real quick before we wrap. Actually having a meeting after this at about 10 o'clock regarding that restaurant program we discussed a couple weeks ago through the Shiawassee Family Y and United Way. We had really good response from our local restaurants, so we're going to be talking about rollout of that. I believe we're hoping to start that program next week where food will be purchased from local restaurants and then given to people that need food through a mobile distribution process. So look for more on that. We are doing a new strategic plan for the SEDP. You should have seen an email about some focus groups where we're rolling that out to our stakeholders. We have 2 this week, 3 next week, 15 people per focus group. It's all virtual. If you have not signed up for one of those, we would love it if you would. 1 hour, just want to show you what we're thinking about doing and get your input. So I'm going to send out another email reminder on that today. And then the last thing, wanted to talk about talent related, just a couple of items there. Encourage continued usage of our jobs board. That is a benefit for our SEDP investors. We have an online jobs board on our website. Please consider, if you have job postings, to share that with us. We would love to get you on our board. Brent is coordinating that. We also have an updated talent resources guide. I'm going to send that out. That is a good guide broken down of what all the different ways you can attract talent are, what SEDP can help with, what education partners, training partners, workforce development partners, media partners can help with. We've had a few of our businesses that have taken advantage of this and have really found some new ways to attract talent. And then the last thing I'm going to mention, and we've actually talked about this a couple of times on the call, we are trying to line up employers for Emerge Skilled. This is an online platform that will connect our schools, our students in our schools with employers. So as we continue to try to bridge that gap and connect our youth with future career employment opportunities, this is going to become the online platform to do it. So if you are an employer and you want to connect with the kids in our school districts across Shiawassee County and talk about your business and get them interested at an early age, maybe coming to work for you, maybe having a co-op, an internship, something like that, this is going to be the way you're going to want to do it. So we're working on lining up employers right now. If you're interested in learning more, please let me know, or Lena Miller from the RESD, who's part of our team as well. So with that, that's all I have today. We will be back with you next week. In the meantime, if anything comes up, as always, feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email. We'll be happy to help. So thank you, everybody. Have a great day.